Power and strength. Power and strength, family. This is very important. Tune in, family. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Nothing but love. We have the solution. This is a flow chart we're going to break down. This is coming directly from the instructions manual that was just published on Africa Freedom Day, which is April 15th. That's just a couple of days ago. Need everybody to go ahead and share this in your favorite groups. Share this everywhere. Tag any person who can be um, in a silver party, a local silver party, which would be the local promoters, event coordinators, marketers. Go ahead and tag them now. Go ahead and tag them now. Let me go ahead and share this first before we break this down. Share this on my page right now. This is very important, people. This is the most important thing. This is the last plan, last solution video you will ever have to watch. This is a quick solution. This is the key. This is the heart and soul of BAM 2027. This is the reason we were able to call Black America's mass migration, because we had this. We did not intend to put this out in a flow chart, but because of the COVID-19 era that we are on right now, the quarantine, we had to expedite the understanding of this process, which we originally intended to introduce at the conference. We did not want to tell people about these steps. We wanted to show and demonstrate the power of what you're looking at right now. But since the uncertainty of the COVID-19 situation, and the agendas of the global powers, we are uncertain as to exactly what the outcome of their agendas would be. So we decided to go ahead and put this information out. In this flow chart format, very simplified. It may look like it's complicated, but it's very simple. We're going to break it down in probably just 5 minutes. Right now, I just need y'all to do me a favor and go ahead and share this. Let's get this information out to as many Black people in America as possible. We are activating diplomatic embassies, autonomous cities, Black American cities, 40 different cities. This is the key to getting it done. Let me go ahead and share this in a couple groups myself, and then I will go ahead and get started. 1 second. Give me literally 30 seconds, family. Give me 30 seconds. I'm going to get started. Let me put this in one group. Boom, there. Solution breakdown. This is the solution, family. This is not, we're not breaking down the science of the we're not breaking down the science of the virus or nothing. That we're given instructions. This is what you do to reposition yourself to a safe place, because we cannot afford to end up in another quarantine situation, and we do not have our own diplomatic infrastructure in place. So this is the key to making sure that doesn't happen. Let me go ahead and get started. So this is the starting point. And this is also found in the new MAP, the Millennial Assembly Protocols. That is the instructions manual for Black America's lawful exodus and diplomatic shelter in economic crisis. So this is how we have our shelters in the next economic crisis. All right. And you can read the full instructions manual for free. The link is in the description of this video, of this live broadcast, and the full manual. We're going to screenshot each page of the manual and post it right here on this Facebook page, Black America's Mass Migration 2027. So that way you can just scroll through the pictures and read it. But if you want a hard copy, you can go to blurb.com. Let me show y'all that. This is one thing I'll show y'all. If y'all want the hard copy, this is what you do. First of all, if you want to read it for free from the website, just come to here, click the link, and click preview. Okay. When you click preview, this should pop up. Boom. Now you can actually read the full thing and get all, you see that same chart that we just showed you. You see it all in here, okay? The full instructions manual you can read in probably 30 minutes or less. Boom, that's it. You see what I'm saying? I just showed y'all the full instructions manual. You can get it from blurb.com, or if you want a physical copy, you can just pay $10, $9.99, whatever, and get you one. See, it was published on Africa Freedom Day, which is April 15th. So this is about the book. MAP stands for Millennial Assembly Protocols. In the vein of speed dating, but way different, MAP is a fast hyper engine for creating Black business partnerships. It's a live audience script and super algorithm that uses an audience response system to instantly give everyone a bird's eye view of what's on the table. It removes static and cuts right to focusing on compatibility. Now it only takes seconds to know exactly what the entire room has to put on the table for business. So we show you. So let's that's what we're actually breaking down. But let me go ahead and just break it down. So this is how we do it. Before we get to the MAP, let's look at the full overview of everything. We start here in quarantine. Everybody's in their house, or we waiting to get out the house. However you want to look at that. We go from there. This is the time where we organize the local silver parties. We need 40 silver parties to come around the country. Now, the silver party is simply a group of promoters, marketers, and event coordinators that come together and form a group. You see what I'm saying? That group is just a group of promotion. It's a promoters network that's in a particular region. That promo network is responsible. They hold a planning session where they use the new MAP. They use the Millennial Assembly protocols to organize the conference, which you see right here. So the Silver Party is the beginning. The Silver Party plans a conference, the migration conference. All right. So the planning session, all they need is a venue and a date to hit the venue. And they need to lock in the 24 elders. Now, the 24 elders are 24 Black multi-millionaires. These will be 12 men and 12 women who are successful Black millionaires. And they have each one of those 24 elders, they will have 6 chiefs or 6 business people. Their team, they organize their team. They come to the table with their team, and they are a strategic part of the conference. The 24 elders of the assembly or in the conference, they will be the ones who use the resource to look at the resources that are available and structure Black business ventures. That is their role and function. They structure the Black business ventures that are possible when we have the migration conference. Okay. So we go from forming a local silver party, to planning the conference. Now, we can either wait for quarantine to be over to hold the conference, or we can defy the social distancing order. Once again, let me say it again. We can defy the social distancing order. This may be necessary. They were talking about matter of fact, even they're saying after quarantine, they're saying that they're going to keep the social distancing thing. So listen, this is going to take a little backbone because we are going to have to defy the social distancing order, which comes back to let me expound on the Silver Party a little bit. We have silver medical silver that is used by the military that you can Google the history on. And they use this silver to prevent infections. This is the same silver that was used during the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic, or whatever it was, epidemic. And the nurses use this silver to prevent them from getting infected, because they had to deal directly with the patients who were suffering and dying from this Spanish flu pandemic or epidemic or whatever it was. So when the Silver Party meets, when the local promoters meet, we are going to provide them the silver to prevent them from getting any type of infection. That way, we are covering our bases. We don't want to just defy social distancing. We want to defy social distancing with a just cause and a smart and intellectual reason to do that. Because one, we are coming together to plan diplomatic actions. First of all, the Silver Party, we are planning whoever these brothers and sisters that have the influence in their local communities are. They need to understand that they will be gathering to plan and coordinate diplomatic actions. So these actions are protected under the diplomacy that was granted by the African presidents, the African Union. All right, so this is the first step. If we can form the local silver parties, then everything else will fall into place. So we will fast forward down to the first migration conference. Let's say quarantine ends, and now we have the date. The Silver Party is promoting the date for the Black business people to come together for the first migration conference, and I feel like that should be in Atlanta. We do have a local Silver Party coming together already in Toledo, Ohio. So if anybody listening is in Ohio and you want to contribute, be a part of the Silver Party. Now, remember, the Silver Party is for influential people, influential promoters, influential marketers, influential event coordinators. These are the people who have access to galvanizing the community, the people who have proven that they are able to get people together. This is the Silver Party. The Silver Party isn't just for any I hate to say the word regular, but any common person. This is for the people who can actually gather people. So if you're in Toledo, Ohio, just know that there is a Silver Party already forming there, and you need to just tap in. We're also going to have a place on the BAM2027.com website that will be able to identify who the point of contacts, the different point of contacts for each Silver Party in different cities, in different areas around the country. We need a minimum of 40. That means every major city needs to have a Silver Party. So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Quarantine is over. We come to the first mass migration conference in Atlanta. From that conference comes 1,008 business ventures in 7 hours. They gather for 7 hours because they're using the new MAP, the Millennial Assembly Protocols, which is a live crowd algorithm and an assembly format with 24 elders, Black multimillionaires, that allows for 1,008 and 3,000 business people. Now, it allows for 1,008 business ventures to be identified in 7 hours. So we go from doing that to duplicating that in the 40 cities. That's when the other silver parties kick off and organize their conference, because each silver party follows the same map. You understand? The silver party plans a conference. The conference generates 1,008 business ventures. It generates the first focus plans for the permanent embassy and the local Argerall lab store. Now, this is the silver we're going to produce. We already have an agreement with the silver company, and a treaty. Actually, this is a treaty that will enable us to produce the silver ourselves. We make the silvers ourselves. As we saw during this pandemic, I was trying to get the silver to people, and because we had so many people who needed it to protect themselves, the company was not able to facilitate all the orders. So we now have an arrangement with the company where when we get these embassies up, when we get these local silver parties up, we will be able to manufacture and distribute our own medical grade, military grade silver. All right. And of course, from the first migration conference also comes the leadership team over here to the right. So three major components come from holding the first conference. First of all, we get 1,008 business ventures. Second of all, we get the Argerall lab store, the silver lab / store, and the permanent embassy. the resources to actually build the embassy come from, or they all come from the first conference. That's all we got to do is make it to this point. So forget everything else. We get from here, forming a local party, local silver party, to holding the first migration conference. And from when we successfully hold the first conference, everything else comes from that. The leadership team, the people for the leadership team will come from the conference. All right. So the business ventures, over 1,008 business ventures in 7 hours, because the new MAP, the Millennial Assembly Protocols, allows us to skip discovery in totality. Imagine walking into a room full of people and instantly within 2 minutes knowing what every single person in the room has and owns to put on the table and puts on the table to do business. So instead of you having to go through a whole conversation to, see that this person has that or this person, you can spend 3 hours at you can spend 5 hours or 7 hours at a networking event, let's say with 3 or 5,000 people. And in that 5 hours, you only really get a chance to talk to, let's say, 10 good people, 10 good conversations in a 5 hour time span. Let's just say, you know what I'm saying? And so you just left the conference only knowing what 10 people got and seeing how you can work with 10 people. With the new MAP, if 1,000 or 5,000 people to gather together in a conference room, conference center, whatever, within in less than 2 minutes, you will know what every single person in the room has to put on the table. In less than 2 minutes, you will know exactly what every business person in the room wants to put on the table for business purposes. What is the value of that? What is the value of knowing that information on an individual perspective? On an individual level, just you as a business person. Now, what is the value of that on a collective standpoint, where everybody in the room knows what everybody has, and everybody in the room can now skip that whole introductory phase, and we can go directly to compatibility to see who is compatible with who. So now we can do focused networking. You see what I'm saying? And not from a general perspective, from a very specific perspective. And that's what the 24 elders will also be there doing. They will have their team of business professionals, successful people who will be looking at that long list of protocol, long list of resources, and saying, okay, this is compatible with that. That is compatible with this. This is compatible with that. This can right here. This person got land. This person got a dealer's license. This person got, $100,000. This person got, what I'm saying? And together we can make a car auction. Okay, this car auction should generate $3 million a year, or $5 million a year, or $10 million a year. And this will all be summarized and given to the people involved, people necessary by the team. You see what I'm saying? That's the way that is what this conference is. This conference is not standing up and listening to somebody talk. That's not the solution. We've done that for years. That does not work. That has not got us really too far. It's gotten us places, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect. But you know what I'm saying? At this point in time, we now have to accomplish within months what we did not accomplish in years and decades. This is the key to doing it. A hyper engine, a black business partnership hyper engine, like speed dating, but for black business partnerships, identifying black business ventures. All right. So we go from holding this first conference to here, to hyper generating 1,008 businesses. We duplicate it in 40 cities around the USA, and now we do it again. We generate 40,320 black business ventures in 7 hours. You see what I'm saying? Now we're generating revenue. Black people are making money right now. That's right now money. This is right now money. When you walk into a room at a conference and you see exactly what everyone has, and you can just see and know exactly who you're compatible with, you get to the right now money. You see what I'm saying? Now, each one of those business ventures that are identified at the conference, commits a percentage of their net profits to the Embassy Development Trust. So imagine 40,000, and this is just one day. This is just one day's work. We're not talking about a full month of work. In a full month, we can identify 800,000, almost 1 million business ventures in 1 month, 30 days. How much revenue can be generated from a million different business ventures? From a million different business ventures. Black people making money now. Now we have the Embassy Development Trust. See, now once we have that Embassy Development Trust, that trust is what's going to be responsible for building the actual embassy. Once that trust comes together, and it even can come together, the embassy actually can come together much sooner, because when you have the second component, I'll tell you about the second component. So let me just stick to the embassy trust right now, because I don't want to go all around the place. So that Embassy Development Trust, is actually the second line of action, I will say, that can build the permanent local embassy. The first line is actually this conference right here. The embassy we can go directly from the embassy to having the leadership team build the permanent embassy. You see what I'm saying? But worst case scenario, we can go through the whole situation, come right back around to getting it done anyway. You see what I'm saying? So, but this is important. Once we have this building, this actual territory, this land, this building structure on it, now the leadership team is interfacing with the African Union, with 55 presidents in Africa. Now we have just activated our diplomatic headquarters. And this is just one. This will happen at least a minimum of 40 different times around the country. Each 40 different diplomatic borders, particularly, or for different regions, 40 different regions. Okay. All right. So I just showed you that, and that's it. Boom. That's it. That part is done. That part is done. This leadership team, this is a different part. I'm gonna go into that next. You know what I'm saying? Let me give y'all let me finish off with this embassy. So once we get this embassy built and we have the development trust, and every 30 days we're generating 800,000 and 806,000, 800,000 plus 6,400 businesses every 30 days. We can do that. Once we're doing that, and the businesses are there, the partnerships are kicking off, the Embassy Development Trust is operating, the local embassy, and this will be a prefabricated structure, prefab panel that will be designed by the architects, panelized technology, so that way when the next city comes together, they can just purchase the panels, the prefab structure, and it can be shipped to that local region and developed quickly, assembled quickly, because it will be a prefab structure that can be set up in very quick time. All right. So once we have the embassy built in our diplomatic activities with all the presidents in Africa, the next step, and this is going to give y'all the long plan so y'all can get the long plan. The next step is to build the university around the local embassy. When we build the university is a strategic component to the rollout, because the university, not only are we educating students, but we're building housing. We're building, everything comes with the university, because they got to learn agriculture. That means they need land to learn. They got to grow stuff. They need greenhouses. They need, the full 9 yards, medical facilities. You know what I'm saying? All of that is a part of, comes with the university, housing, all of that stuff, all of that stuff. Science, technology, laboratories, you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff comes with a university. University is a good way of building a small city or a small town ecosystem, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we put the university around the embassy. You see what I'm saying? And then, of course, the business district comes around. Okay, so we actually didn't put that part in. So we put the university around the embassy, and then the business district around the university, and then the residential area around the business district. You know what I'm saying? And it's just all circular. The embassy will all be, there will be a circular structure, and so that the everything is just surrounding that. Right? Boom. Um, so the migrations can begin with the students who first go to the university. The business people, the business families, who got the business districts, got to run the business districts, and at that point we finish building out the residential, and then we cancel the CEO. Now this is a whole nother thing. We got this is a whole nother instruction manual. Got to come for the cancel the CEO. But that is another power move. That we all can agree on or disagree on, whatever, what I'm saying. But we'll put it on the table at a later date. Right now, that is not. We don't need to go in depth. Leadership team. Okay, so from the first migration conference, we get the leadership team. The leadership teams will then be responsible for creating the Census Bureau. Now, remember, as soon as the leadership teams are identified and come together, they immediately begin interfacing with the presidents in Africa, with the African Union, and the government there, to declare, what's going on, and to keep them up to date with what we're doing with the embassies and the Black American cities. The leadership team will then create the Census Bureau, and begin, mass polling and voting. Now, voting will be a very intricate, a very special, important, essential, critical aspect of these communities, because we got to create a voting culture, literally a voting culture where we're voting like every week, like every Friday or every Monday or every Saturday, every Sunday. We're going to have to be creating voting is going to have to be like infused and turned way up in our culture, because there's so many benefits that can come out of having input from everybody, having everybody's input, not just on presidents or leaders, but we need input on smaller social areas. You know what I'm saying? Different things like that will pertain to each city. So the people will be able to vote, and the cities will be able to be built and developed based around the desires and the interests of the people is serving. Right? So voting, polling, that's very important. Census. Now, the Census Bureau will also finalize another power move that we have not done in the last 15 years, which is holding the elections for the 6 region representatives. We will have to elect 20 representatives from the African diaspora to sit at the African Union with the other 55 presidents. So those 55 presidents moved over and gave us 20 seats to sit down next to them as equals, representing us here in the diaspora. So we have to elect our own people to go and sit with the presidents and represent us at the African Union meetings. And once we do that, we have now successfully maximized our momentum for Black American diplomacy, because you're right next to all the presidents of all the other countries in Africa, of all the other countries in the world. At that point, 20 of us, 20 regular Black brothers and sisters, 20 regular Black brothers and sisters will be elevated to the status of presidents, to the equal status. They will be elevated to the status of presidents. Now, they will be representatives, but they will be sitting next to all of the presidents. What does that tell you? That means that you have presidential equality. You represent the diaspora, the 6th region. We should drop everything and get this done like immediately. But, we will be able to form a focused action team on that from the conference. So that's why holding this conference is very important. Now, in order to hold the conference, we need to organize the conference. We have to plan. We have to have a planning session. Now, yeah, one person can do this, but no, we have to get out of that one person can save the day mentality. We have to form groups for everything we need done. The local Silver Party is the promoters group, the group of influencers and marketers and promoters and event organizers to come together, put their minds together to plan the conference. How are we going to get 3,000 business people into the same room, Black business people into the same room? That is what the Silver Party have to figure out. How do we get 3,000 Black business people into the same room? Minimum of 3,000. You can have more than 3,000 black business people, but we want the minimum. The ideal number would be 3,000 minimum. Okay. So the leadership team immediately begins coordinating diplomatic actions with the African Union, and they grow the local asset database, as we said, and they will forward that local database to the national database. Now, in the book, you will see, the purpose of this. Now, this is just a quick overview. Remember, go and read the full instructions manual so you guys can get a full understanding of this. Once again, go and read the full instructions manual so you can get a full understanding of all the components, because it's broken down in the manual. It's only 30 pages. It's actually less than 30 pages because there's like an introduction or a table of content and stuff like that. So it's less than 30 pages, y'all. Um, Now, the other thing is, now this is mildly tapping on the spiritual side, but we create a calendar committee. This is very important because we need a celebration board. The calendar creates a subcommittee, to create the celebration board, and we need to immediately begin celebrating these 2 days. This is the day, May 25th, that the African Union came together. This is called Africa Day. Google it. This is Africa Day. This is a thing. It's a real thing. This will be the holiday for one of the first holidays in our people in our communities, because this is the day that we get our diplomatic power from the African Union. This is the day that all the presidents and prime ministers in Africa, 1963, met in Ethiopia at Addis Ababa, and they formed the African Union, or what's known today as the African Union. You know what I'm saying? And that came, before that, you had Africa Freedom Day. Oh, that's a different one. So the other day, December 27th, this would be like a national prayer day. And, if y'all have been following the whole Mount Kenya stuff, you understand why. Very strategic, 2 strategic days. Now, there is a very strategic reason that we need to celebrate certain days as a community. We have to have our own days as a community that we celebrate as a nation, as our own diplomatic separate entity. You see what I'm saying? We have to celebrate. So all you twerkers, rappers, partiers, you play a special role in this liberation process as well. You play probably the most special role, because as we celebrate, that is a public declaration of our identity, of our national identity, a public declaration of our national identity and our national history and our future, and where we plan to take ourselves in the future. So you can actually be very useful, but we have to form a celebration board, and you should be tagging all your favorite celebrities in telling them to form this celebration board. The local celebration board. We are going to make sure we are celebrating our days nationwide. Once we do that, that is like a public declaration of who we are and what we are. And people, I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to spend unnecessary time. If y'all have any questions on this, obviously I can't see you because I am in this full screen mode. But this eventually leads to 2023. We should have this university ready to start enrolling students. If we move quickly, I'm telling you, this thing is so powerful. The fact that we can generate so many black business, and actually more in business ventures, business capital. This is how we create our closed economic circuit. This right here, this is the key. We do this 40 times. We do this 40 times. We form it's called a space rollout, SPCE, SPCE. That's a silver party, from silver party to conference to embassy. That's the space rollout. We're giving ourselves space. Silver party, conference, embassy. Once we get that, it's a wrap. Get our diplomatic infrastructure, our diplomatic buildings, our diplomatic addresses, our autonomous locations, not subject to the orders, to the shutdown orders, to the martial law orders, not subject to the forced vaccination orders. This is the key to maximizing that. You see what I'm saying? This is a major key because we can do it quickly. The speed in which we can get this done using this particular format is indispensable. So I'm done, y'all. I hope this was clear. I hope I didn't lose y'all. Once again, the new map, new millennial assembly protocols. Using this manual creates a national asset compatibility matrix to hypergenerate 40,320 Black business ventures around the country in just 7 hours, producing a network of 40 plus embassies on local levels prepared to interface with 55 African presidents who laid groundwork for Black America's diplomacy as the 6th region of the African Union. That's us. We are the 6th region of the African Union. Now, this compatibility system was designed to financially fuel the development of 6th region cities by flooding the market with strategic Black business collaborations, each contributing to a local embassy development trust for building our diplomatic safe zones. That's the cities. That's the Black cities. All while creating revenue, employment, and community culture right now. Right now, people. This also not only has the long-term security, this has the right now money, the right now employment aspect of it. We need that. Acknowledging our lawful remedy of exodus for slavery filed by Black America's Mass Migration 2027 in Northern District Court of Georgia under CV 119-4443. So we actually have a legal remedy that we are actually moving in default now. You know what I'm saying? That we can actually move to default now. That gives us a whole nother layer of I don't even want to call it protection, of confidence, a whole nother layer of confidence, and momentum. But we'll have to go over that in a whole nother situation, whole nother video. I'm done right now. So I'm going to click stop sharing. Boom. All right. We done.